Good dinner of Shabbos. This week's Parshas Tzav. Parshas Tzav, we continue talking about karbanos in Sefer Vayikra. And one of the karbanos that we have in Parshas Tzav is the carbon taida. The carbon taida was a thanksgiving carbon, a carbon that people would bring when they felt gratitude. And Rav Dessler explains, I heard this in a share from Rav Ephraim Goldberg, and Rav Dessler explains that gratitude is just a feeling. So why do we have to bring a carbon? Isn't it enough just to have that feeling of gratitude? That's what it is. It's a feeling. And Rav Dessler goes on to explain brilliantly. He says it's not, you can't just say thank you. You can't just have a feeling of, I feel thanks and I feel gratitude towards someone. That's not enough. We have to, because it's not complete if it doesn't have an action, Rav Dessler says. The feeling of gratitude that a person has is not enough to just feel gratitude towards someone. It has to be connected to an action. The carbon tide, the Netziv says about the carbon tide also on the same line. And the Netziv says that the carbon taida, normally you have 2 days and a night to bring a carbon taida. It had to be done in 1 day. Carbon taida had to be brought in 1 day, and it was 40 loaves. That was the carbon taida. So 40 loaves in 1 day is a lot. How would you even accomplish that? And Netziv says that you accomplish that by inviting other people to share in the carbon, and other people would come and share in the 40 loaves. That's how you'd be able to complete it. When you're grateful for something, you have to show it. You can't just feel grateful about it. That's one level, is recognizing that someone or the Rabbeinu Shalom did something good for you and you are grateful for it. That's one level, yes. But you have to do more than that. You have to spread it. You have to tell other people. You have to at least tell the person. You have to at least tell the person that you're grateful toward. You can't just feel it. That's not enough. And that's the lesson of the carbon taida. That the lesson of the carbon taida is the nature of it was that it had to be shared. It was too much. It was 40 loaves. You can't have 40 loaves in 1 day by yourself. You have to share it. That's just the nature of what the carbon is. I think he brings from the L'Sitcha Elyon, if I'm not mistaken, that you have to pay it forward immediately. As soon as the nature of the carbon taida is that it had to be shared with other people. You have to invite other people in order to express your gratitude. And that is such an important lesson. I was once talking to someone, and it was about Parnasa. It was something about Parnasa, and he was saying, wow, you can't imagine what this guy did for me. He doesn't even realize what he did for me. He started me off in a business or whatever it was. I have so much akar satayv to him. I said to him, wow, did you ever tell him that? And he's like, well, I don't know. Maybe I mentioned that. That's not acceptable. A person who, in this particular case, you owe your source of parnasa to this person, the person doesn't even know, go over and tell the guy. Go over and say, I have such a kar satayv to you. This is the whole inyan of a Suda Saidah, for example, why people make a Suda Saidah. When someone does something nice for you, it's not even more than just telling the person thank you, which of course you should go over to the person and say thank you, but you should tell it to other people. You should say, wow, you know what this person did for me? It's an amazing thing that this person did. You know what the Rabbeinu Shalom did for me? The Rabbeinu Shalom did X, Y, Z for me. I'm so thankful. It should be mefartzim. You should spread it. You should tell people about it. I think it's a very important lesson. I've spoken about gratitude here a few times. To me, it's very personal. I believe that this is a very important lesson that we could all take, and it's a good lesson to take. Sometimes it's hard to find things to take lessons from Karbanis, but I think this is a very good thing and an easy thing that we could take from the lesson of the carbon taida. Have a wonderful Shabbos.